Welcome back, fam. This is Chris with Food for Your Thoughts. I hope you've been enjoying yourself so far, learning more about your purpose, your mission, these nature guides, all these different synchronicities that have been popping up in your life, and really leaving no stone unturned in your life, because your life has a very important meaning and it has value too. Okay, and so so far we've been talking about a lot of things during this presentation series with these nature guides, and I want to give a quick shout out to Tobias Barnett, one of our newest subscribers here at Food for Your Thoughts. And he wanted, he asked me like, hey Chris, can you please do one about the bull? So Tobias Barnett, and to all you guys, this is for you. So if you've been seeing the bull or the ox, this presentation for you. Be sure to click that like, subscribe button down below. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And we are at the pretty much close to the end of this presentation series. We will conclude with the hawk, the falcon, and lastly the eagle, and then we'll wrap things up. And then in our next presentation, I'll share my experiences with you, talk about the elemental kingdom. Okay, but I know that'll be fun for you guys along your journey. But guys, remember this, this is all about the nature guides, and these are nothing more than your universal messengers and our greatest teachers in disguise, only if we're open to receive these messages. Okay, so again, from the time you was born, each and every one of us, we have guardian angels, protectors, our own spiritual team that are assigned to us to make sure we follow along on our hero's journey, right? So because like all through your life, things been happening for you, and you don't know how these things been happening, right? But somehow, some way, things been working out in your favor. But you wasn't tripping, right? And you was grateful for all the ups and downs along your path, and it made you the person that you are today. And so far so good. And there's more to life than what you've been told, and you really want to leave no stone unturned and really figure out more about your life path, your purpose, your natal chart, and all these different divination methods to find more information about you and who you are, right? So I'm one of the many mentors along your path. I'm sharing my truth, my ups and downs, my experiences, so you don't make the same mistakes like I did along my journey, and also to share some tips and some things that you can use to really help you skip some levels, so you can get a bird's eye view of what's really going on, so you don't get swept away like the masses, right? Okay, so that's where these 7 hermetic principles come in handy. So if you don't learn anything else, please use these 7 hermetic principles. This is pretty much the law of attraction for all you law of attraction people. Learn these things. You will greatly thank me later. If you would like to donate to the channel, you can drop me a cash app later, okay? And I take cryptocurrency too. But learn about your life path, numerology aside, your personal year, your natal chart. And I promise each and every day, your universe, your spiritual team, now that you open to receive these messages and you know better, you're gonna do better, right? And the universe, your spiritual team, gonna constantly keep sending you messages. All right, so you can build a relationship basically with yourself, because there's nothing outside of you. Everything is like it's an inner outer relationship. I hope that makes sense. So everything is energy, all is spiritual, right? But it's just you expressing you on your own blackboard of life, if that makes sense. So build a relationship with yourself. Always trust your own intuition. Don't believe a word I'm saying. I'm just sharing my experiences with you, so you don't make no mistakes, okay? Because I love you that much, and I love myself to share this message with you as well, okay? But today, guys, is all about the bull or the ox and common nature guys symbolism. And as always, all right, there's no cookie cutter recipe to life. Our purpose and mission require learning a whole bunch of these life lessons to gain experience and knowledge for our soul's growth. So, if you've been doing the same thing and you really haven't been getting the results that you've been hoping for, and you've been reading about, and you did everything that that the government and all these other people said to do, like go to school, you got these degrees, or you've just been an overall great person and things haven't been working out for you, there's a reason, okay? And they won't teach you about these 7 hermetic principles, okay? All right, so once you put these things to action, really put them to action each and every day. It's all about your intent, remember, okay? All right, and the universe is going to mirror your intent You're like, hey, so you really want to change your life? Okay, show me. All right, don't talk about it, be about it. That's what the universe gonna tell you, right? But it's gonna push you. It's gonna make you uncomfortable, right? But you know, when you're growing, it's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, that letting you know that you're changing, and it's okay. But you're gonna reach a level where all that being uncomfortable it's not gonna feel so bad, right? You're actually gonna get used to it, and you know, if you feel too comfortable, that means you're not growing too. So it's a flip side to everything. But let me not get too far off track here. But this is all about the bull and the ox coming at you guys, symbolism here. But trust your intuition to have that greater alignment with your life, right? Your thoughts, words, belief, emotion, and action always going to equal your reality and your results. Okay, so if things are not going right, start with these things, right? And then follow along with your life path number and your natal chart. These are the three things, you know, my top three things to really dive into to really get things crack-a-lacking and shaking in your life, right? And you're gonna thank me later with these 7 Hermetic principles too. Okay, but keep your money in check at this present time. Investigate cryptocurrency, dollar cost averaging, all right, dividend stock like Nike, right? Things that gonna pay you monthly, weekly, daily, right? So really investigate your life. Okay, pay yourself 10% each and every check. Okay, let that thing compound, and then, you know, let it build up to your next asset. Okay, just a little quick tip that I learned I've been doing pretty much my entire life. Okay, but let's talk about this bull and the ox symbolism, and I'm gonna get you guys out of here. But shout out to Tobias Barnett again for requesting this, and as we wrap this Nature Guide series up. Okay, so with that being said, if you've been seeing the bull or the ox, you know, in my experience, just a quick reminder, it just let me know, like, hey, do you need a little help, you know, with stability, determination, or just, you know, some sheer muscle power, or just strength in general, right? Do you want the energy of patience to work on your spirit at this time? You know, and in my experience overall, guys, to be honest, it's all about repetition and trusting in that voice that I hear. Sometimes you really have to discern, because sometimes you can have that ego, that inner critic, right, give you some bad advice. So you really have to discern. You know, remember, you are not your thoughts. So you know, let them things just flow through. Pick the ones that you need, right? Tell yourself, I love myself. I'm the best thing ever, right? Because you are. And I'm reminding you that you are. That's why I'm doing this presentation, just to remind you and to remind me of what we're supposed to be doing, right? Because I love you guys. Keep doing what you need to do. All right. But to sum things up, guys, on your hero's journey, when it comes to this bull and the ox symbolism, you know, I want to start from, you know, top to bottom here and work my way around. But Tobias and everybody, you know, really investigate this bull. All right. You know, as above, so below, right? So, you know, everything's interconnected. There's no one way, you know, to describe everything. But the way I like to package everything with the interconnectedness, let's start with the cosmos. And when it comes to Taurus, right, with that bull, you know, it's all about, you know, stands for being that level head, right? Stamina, fertility, strength, helpfulness, determination, and confidence. And these individual too is all about what? Balance, teamwork, relationship, cooperation, right? That intuition, that 2 is that intuition, right? With the flip side of the 7, right? And really trusting that inner voice. And you know, you pretty much that mediator, right? When this thing pops up, you know, sometimes you can be instead of being so bullheaded, right, you can be in that mediator role too. Okay, so there's, you know, a polarity here, and you got these genders, you know, principles going on too, guys. But when it comes to the actual spiritual animal and the symbolism, you know, it's just reminding you, you know, when this bull or the ox pop up, you're patient, hardworking, very modest, firm-rooted, and open to give importance to work ethics, because you really, once you put, you know, your foot down, you want to get stuff done. You want to see things through to completion, and that's okay. All right, and that's the way to be. So when the thing pops up in dreams, it's just letting you know that, hey, It may either refer to that the materialization of your dreams, or just look forward to the immense abundance, because what you've been doing, again, repetition, consistency, persistency. You've been planting those seeds. And with this Taurus, again, it's all about what? Relationship. You've been really helping a lot of people, being that mediator instead of just being bullheaded, right? But when it comes to the ox and the bull, with the spirit guide, when it enters your life, it's just letting you know it's time to remain steady and stay the course, okay? Ox, as this totem, belongs to those who reach their goals no matter how long it takes, okay? Consistency, persistency, refine and repeating the process. So anytime you really need to be bold and really just, see your goals through, just envision the bull of the ox, this Taurus sign, that second house, and just stay focused, okay? And just remember, at the end, once your goal is complete, there is always, you got to have a goal for the next, to complete the cycle of the next goal, okay? So if I repeat myself, okay? So never finish with that one goal. You should have a goal after that goal, in other words, okay? But as we sum things up, when it comes to the, the bull and the ox symbolism, and with this nature guide here, if I sum things up, on the male aspect, when it comes to the bull, it's all about strength. If you follow me here on the right hand side here, and that's equal to sun, and that's all about kingly power, and that's equals value to me. And then on the feminine aspect, it's all about balance, really embracing that masculine, feminine aspect, really that feminine aspect, because a lot of people they really lack creativity these days. So the universe, Mama Universe, is letting you know, like, hey, it's time to tap into your creativity, really love yourself, and then take all of these wonderful ideas that you bring down, right? Write these things down, all right? And let your masculine enforce that stuff, right? But it's all about creativity, the moon, and queenly power, okay? But as we close, guys, the lips of wisdom are closed itself to the ears of understanding, the Kabbalion. When the people is ready to receive the truth, then with this little book, come to him or her, the Kabbalion. The law of attraction will bring lips and ear together, people in book and company. And as we get out of here, all these various nature guides that your spiritual team just constantly keep popping into your reality, right? It just here to remind you that on your hero journey of the moral of your story, all these different symbolisms, they just a constant reminder you, of the moral of your story and what you need to do according to your life path and natal chart. All right. And that inner spirit, your spirit knows. You don't have to read anything, really. Your spirit telling you, like, hey, there's something I need to be doing at this time. The hero's journey begins, right? So all jokes aside, guys, really investigate your life. Your life is very important. These signs are here for a reason. It's not an accident or a coincidence, okay? The games is over. It's time to really take your life seriously. So the use of these animals symbolism in our lives maintains a deep connection between ourselves and Mother Nature, the natural world. In the same way as astrological signs suggest personality characteristics, animals have certain qualities that may have a bearing on our attributes as well, which they do. Now, animal guides can also show us a deeper understanding, right? And allow us to receive impressions when requesting insight or inner awareness without clouding our overall intuitive perceptions and our overall judgment. So as we close, when it comes to the bull and the ox symbolism in our lives, guys, my 5 takeaways, before we get started with that, it's all about polarity too, okay? When you see these different symbols come in your life, remember there may be some things that you need to work on, or some things you've been really doing well at, and you really need to pat yourself on the back and stop being so hard on yourself, okay? All right, and really embrace and realize there's a masculine, feminine principle to everything that you see, okay? All right, so really embrace that, creative aspect, and also the enforcement aspect, okay? So don't be a consumer, start creating something. All right. But love yourself. So my 5 takeaways are, when it comes to the bull and the ox, it's just a constant reminder that, you tap into that male aspect a little bit, right? And this with fruitfulness And you know, it's time for you to really step into that leadership role, either at home or at work or somewhere in public, where you really kind of been stepping back, and you not really been, you know, showing off a little bit, but you know it's time for you to really present yourself to the, you know, to the world, and let them know that, hey, I know what I'm doing. It's time for me to really take the leadership role. Okay. But it's all about renewal. You know, it's all about being better than the person you were yesterday. Okay. And it's all about power too, because you're stepping into this new leadership role. Okay. But number 2, when this bull presents, maybe it's time for you, especially with this Taurus, you know, attributes, right, and characteristics. Maybe, you know, volunteer work is a great way to really change, you know, arrogances, you know. So I'm saying all that to say this, you know, there are people out there that would love to be in your shoes. So you have to be grateful, you know. So you have to see yourself, you know, in others, right? You have to. So there are people that would love to be in your shoes. Trade places with people for a day. That's where the volunteer work come into play, and you really get a change in perspective, and a little slap in the face there. And you'll be grateful for the things you have and the things you don't have, and the things are yet to come, right? Number 3, the Ox energy will not allow you to procrastinate. Okay, so once, you know, your spiritual team shoot this symbolism into your reality, hey, it's time, you know, whatever goes, because normally it's about goals. If whatever goals that you focus on right now, you need to see them through, okay? Because you're on a cosmic deadline with your life path, okay? All right. So next, so just remember, you know, when the bull reaches boiling point, right, it's best to stay far away from it, you know, for them as possible, right? So I'm saying this is to, you know, sometimes, you know, things can kind of tick you off, right? But be mindful of your words and actions, because remember, everything's an energetic transaction here, and it's all about sharing great energy. Okay, it's okay to have a whoopsie here and there, right? But remember, it's all about your intent. You know, your intent is not to hurt anybody, but it's all about delivering a good message as possible, or a great message as possible, you know, at that present time. But live in that present moment, and remember, you know, when these people present themselves into your lives, and before you react right away like a firecracker, right? Think about it. You're talking to yourself in another time and space, okay? And these people may not know, you know, what you know. So, you know, think before you react, okay? That's all I'm saying. Number 4, you know, this animal or nature guide, right, will present itself, especially when you're struggling with authority or, you know, taking direction in life. So it's time for you to really focus on one thing at a time, okay? So you can't be mad or angry and happy at the same time frame, okay? So focus on one thing at a time, and see it all the way through until it's complete, okay? All right. And 5, as always, guys, you're gonna learn so much information, you know, and research about the bull in your natal chart, that second house placement, you know, especially as this thing keep popping up in your life, okay, with your spiritual team. They may want to show you something, okay? So follow your intuition, okay? It won't steer you wrong. All right. But number 5 here, you know, really along your journey, you will learn so much. You know, it's time for us to help people to help themselves. It's time for you know, the bull already told you, like, hey, it's time for you to step into this leadership role, either at home or in public. But you need to really, as you know, that leadership role, you know, matures, right? You're gonna be that mentor as real, right? That it's all about balance. So it's time to, you know, really help people to help themselves. That's all I'm saying, guys. But be mindful of the different colors and time that you experience the presence of these different nature guys, and we get ready to close this series. And remember, you know, your spiritual team is constantly trying to get your attention, to get you on track with your hero's journey. I'm just a messenger, just to remind you of what you need to be doing. It's showtime, because it's your time, right? But remember, you're going to get a lot of downloads, a lot of great ideas, you know, now with this new energies that's flowing on the planet. You know, write these things down. And, you know, I see a lot of people don't do this. You got to take action. No matter how weird you may think it is, you know, take action. Research around it at least, right? and then take action. Then you're gonna make a few mistakes, but you're gonna refine and repeat the process. You're gonna find a sweet spot, and then you can start adding some additional things that reinforce your purpose, right? Because you're living with a purpose now, because you have a plan, you have goals, right? You live with a purpose, right? But have fun, ladies and gentlemen. But this is all about the bull and the ox coming, nature guide symbolism. Shout out to Tobias Barnett again. And remember, learn these 7 hermetic principles. Be the cause in your life instead of waiting for the effect to happen. The people that wait for the effect to happen, they pretty much waiting for luck, and they have no idea where the causes come from. All right, but the people that constantly plant those causes, and it's all about intent, and they have goals, they create their own luck. They don't believe in luck. They create their own luck because they have proper intent, they have goals, and they taking radical action towards their goals and vision, right? And they're gonna stack up a whole bunch of these effects, and it's gonna be money time, right? Abundance, nothing but assets. But learn these 7 hermetic principles. I promise you guys, it's gonna take you far. You'll greatly thank me later. But learn more about your life path, your personal year, your natal chart. All right, and it will really help bring some more balance, along your hero's journey. Okay, so again, our purpose and mission require learning all these life lessons to gain a lot of experience and knowledge for our soul's growth. So if you want a different result in your life, you gotta change your routine. Okay, so if things haven't been going right, it's never too late to start over. I'm living proof. Okay, so you can change your story anytime you want to. All right, so don't box yourself in the corner. You can do whatever you want to. Just use your creativity. That's what this new energy is all about. Realigning people back to their creativity, and also using that masculine aspect to really enforce things so you can really fulfill your hero's journey. Okay, but guys, this is Chris with Food for Your Thoughts. Thanks again for this request. But we will finish out this presentation series with the hawk, the falcon, and the eagle, ladies and gentlemen. But trust your intuition. Your thoughts, belief, words, emotion, and actions always going to equal your reality and your results. Again, keep your money in check. All right, learn about those dividend stocks, dollar cost averaging, cryptocurrency. I promise you, it'll take you far. But be sure to click that like, subscribe button down below. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, this is Chris with Food for Your Thoughts. Stay grateful and focused, fam. Peace.